Hello and welcome to Let's Stay Rich, an initiative started by CNBC TV18 and the Indian Super League to help the players of this Premier Football League manage their money better. Because for a sports person, it's absolutely critical to utilize their peak years with the maximum earning potential to actually provide for the time when they won't be playing anymore. As much as no one wants to think about it, but think we must. So one young man who's been doing a lot of thinking is Mumbai City FC's Ashutosh Mehta, the rising star in the midfield, and here is his story. 24-year-old Ashutosh Mehta, an I-League regular for Mumbai FC, now starring in the current edition of the ISL for his home city. Having played in both editions of the ISL, Ashutosh is certainly building a reputation for himself.
No, he's done well. He's been a steady performer year in, year out in the I-League. He's now shown us glimpses in the first games in the first round in the ISL what he can do. He's showed us that. He showed that he's competitive. He's not scared of putting a tackle in. He's not scared of winning his headers. Like I said, he can play centre back. He can play right back. You can push him further forward. So again, he's got a lot of attributes to be a good footballer.
Strongly built and highly versatile, Ashutosh provides solidity and creativity on the field. Having been awarded and rewarded for his fitness, Ashutosh is leaving no stone unturned to become a regular fixture in Indian football.
I think it's reliable, and that's all you want from a defender. You want him to win the personal battles, which he does. Like I've mentioned, his commitment and his desire to win challenges. He's also got a lot of fitness about him. We've seen him running up and down that wing, getting forward like a modern day fullback does. So I think his style of play is current, it's modern, it's competitive, and he's competent on the ball, which is also a plus.
Ashutosh Mehta has seen a successful transition from the youth setup to the senior team at Mumbai FC. And this is one rising star you'd want to continue placing your bets on. And Ashutosh now joins in, all set to chart out his financial future. So Ashutosh, thanks very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this show.
Thank you so much.
And we hope it's going to be useful for you in the longer term.
I hope so.
And joining in today to also help us chart out his financial roadmap, we have Anshu Kapoor, the head of Global Wealth Management at Edelweiss, and Harshvardhan Roongta of Roongta Securities. So gentlemen, thanks very much for continuing to indulge us in our initiative. But before we get to actually quizzing Ashutosh about the hardcore financial stuff, I have a few questions, Ashutosh. How was life pre-football? How have things changed for you?
Firstly, I never believed that I would become a professional. I'm from a Gujarati family, so my family doesn't understand much of football. For them, it's like the higher you kick the ball, the better the player you are.
Okay, so that's an inspiring story actually.
Yes.
Against all odds, you've actually managed to pursue your dreams.
Yes.
And kudos to your family for allowing you to do that.
Oh yes,
and
they have
encouraging
supported
you
me
as well.
throughout like.
Okay, so that's nice. So tell us, with the kind of success that you've seen over the last few years, what is money now meaning to you? I mean, what does it mean to you now?
So as long as money teaches me to be humble, then only it's useful. Money shouldn't fool you,
Okay, that's nice. And in fact, that's the first. Money teaches you to be humble. That's really a
Money
nice
teaches
thought.
you to be humble, yeah.
Yeah, that's really a nice thought, and I hope a lot of the young footballers who are listening to you
Yes.
also use that as one of the takeaways. But what about you guys? What do you want to know?
I think let's start by understanding how much are you aware of financial investments, financial markets, and maybe if you could tell us how do you make your financial investments?
See, I have an idea about all these things, but my mom, she is very strict with the money I'm earning because I know where I come from. So yeah, she handles everything. She helps me with my money.
You made a very interesting statement. Money should keep you humble and money shouldn't fool you.
Exactly.
So as a footballer today, everything going good? I mean, you have a tournament which is coming up, but how does it go 5, 10 and 15 years from now?
I wish to have my own house in Mumbai. I already have 2 houses in Mandvi, which is in Gujarat, I have a land over there, but I wish to have my own house within a couple of years or maybe 3. If everything goes according to plan, by God grace, I can have my own house in Mumbai. This is my first aim, to have my own house in Mumbai.
Alright, so that's all about your financial plans, but I have a question. I want to know, besides just playing football, I've heard that you're also a bit of a model, aren't you? How did that come about?
Yeah, there's this one friend of mine, his name is Karan, and he just gets me this modeling assignments and I just keep doing it. He's just a very close friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I like doing modeling because I like the camera a lot.
Yeah. Okay, that's good, and the camera likes you. And don't get me wrong, I'm only asking this because it's another source of income, right? It's
Yes,
not.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. And
that's,
I like doing it as well. So yeah.
yeah, so that's the only reason I ask as well. But anyway, let's take a quick break on that note. We'll come back, and on the other side, it'll be time to discuss Ashutosh's current finances as they are and find a plan that suits his aspirations. So stay tuned and let's stay rich. Getting rich and staying that way is the dream, and that's exactly the game plan here as well. Welcome back to Let's Stay Rich. We've heard Ashutosh's story, and it's time now to crystallize his goals and attach financial goalposts to them. Forgive me for all the football use of words, but Anshu Kapoor of Edelweiss and Harshvardhan Roongta of Roongta Securities are helping us do just that. Okay, so we've spoken a little bit about some of your goals, but tell me one thing. You have people who are dependent on you, right? 3 people. Given that, would you categorize yourself as more of a spender or a saver?
As I told you, that I spend my money very, very wisely
Okay.
because my mom is very strict with it.
You're too young to be that wise, Ashutosh.
No, I think I have my mom to advise me, so yeah, I've become wise now as of now, because she has been telling me since a very long time that yes, you have to plan your life, you have to save your money. So now I know that
Yeah.
how to plan and how to save my money.
You know what they say, at 17 you thought your parents knew nothing, at 24 you're shocked to discover how much they've picked up in the last few years.
I'm not saying I know everything, but now I have a little idea.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's important.
nice. Okay, so since you're being all wise with us, tell us about your current investments. What are your areas of comfort? Where have you put money so far?
I told you I have had this 2 houses in
Right.
Mandvi, which is in Gujarat.
So
I have
real
land.
estate is one
Real
big
estate,
chunk of
yes,
your
yes,
portfolio.
yes, real
Okay.
estate. And LIC,
Okay.
Jeevan Saral, and that's it. That's what I know. Only these things I know. So I told you my mom handles everything. I don't understand about all these things much. So yeah, this is the few things I know about it.
Okay, so you have some insurance and you're comfortable with the real estate so far. So it's time now to open up the floor to newer avenues of investment, and I think our experts here are raring to go.
So well, Ashutosh, let's look at a couple of scenarios which should possibly have financial impact in your life. You know, you mentioned that you have 3 dependents on you, and you're the income generating person in your family. So understand a situation, if something were to happen to you, what happens and what is the financial impact on your family?
Yes, it's going to affect my family a lot because as I told you, 3 of my family members are largely, not completely, but largely dependent on me.
Yeah, and so this is one such scenario which you need to look at, which has financial impact. Now the other area that you might possibly need to look at and plan for is a situation in post 35 years of your age. As you said, you would be engaged professionally in football up to age 35, depending on several other factors.
Yeah.
What happens in case of life beyond 35? So who pays you this retainer fee? How do you get that income in your hand which you're generating today? So this is one area which you need to think. And so have you put some mind on this, and what would your response be on that?
Perhaps also a career post football. Have you put any thought to that?
Yes, if everything goes well, I would want to open my own academy, and just help Indian football to grow more. That's what I've thought about it.
I think Ashutosh, let's stay on the concept around protection. The other aspect you may want to reflect upon is income protection. You are a sports person and there is a real risk of injuries. On the field, you have some protection from the clubs. What happens if there is something that happens to you off the field? So I don't know if that is something that has crossed your mind, and you may want to just reflect upon it. Does this discussion ever happen in the locker room with your other colleagues?
Yes, it does. Injury is the major problem for a sports person. So yeah, if I think the club, the period we are with the club, they have insured us, but other than that I haven't. So I need to do that, right?
Right. And I also wanted to ask you on the overall income, how much do you save today? Would you know an approximate number or percentage?
My dad is an editor, my mom is a teacher, so they earn, but as I told you that my family is largely I'm responsible for everything. So yes, 70% to 75% of my income is saved.
Right. And any EMIs that you need to support today?
Yes, I have taken a car loan,
Right.
which is just going to end, and I'm thinking of getting a new car probably. So if everything goes according to the plan, I'll get a new car.
And that would
very
be
soon.
another loan that you will take?
Yes, I think loan would be good.
Right.
Okay.
So by and large, if we have to just summarize your requirements, one, as we see, is that there's some need to get an appropriate and a correct form of life cover. We need to plan something for post 35 years of your age, assuming that there is some requirement for a regular income. Well, you have alternate career plans, but when we plan, we would plan it in such a way, considering that you would largely be dependent on your financial assets to generate some kind of regular income. You need to buy a car and
A house.
house.
Firstly, a house, because that's the most important thing. House in Mumbai. Oh, I need a car, a luxurious car, you can say, a car. And yes, I just want to keep my family very, very happy. My sister's marriage,
Okay.
and even after my marriage. So yeah, I want to keep everybody, my family.
You also have big travel plans, right?
Oh yes, I would want to take my family on a world tour, after 35, maybe, once I have a lot of time.
So that's a big goal also in your
That's
life.
a big goal, yes. I want to make my family see the entire world, so yeah.
By when do you think you would want to settle down into a marriage yourself?
Oh, I haven't thought about it right now, but yeah,
He's
once
married
I'm
to football right now.
I'm married to football, but yes, once I'm very strong financially, maybe, yes, I'll think
What
about
does strong financially mean to you?
it. Means
Never having to think about money again?
no, nothing like that. Of who doesn't want to earn? Of course I want to earn, but money isn't everything for me as of now. It's just the beginning. For me, happiness is the highest level of success.
Right.
So as of now, I just go for excellence. I know money will follow me. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so that's good. Tell me something. Do you have any contingency fund that you keep at hand? Some money which is liquid enough for you to use in times of an emergency?
Yes, you should always have a backup, if there is an emergency, if anybody is not well, or if something happens to someone, you should have this backup money, so I do have it.
I think overall, I guess the pedigree is good. His money has been managed by his mother. Very good financial sense has been instilled, and moreover, I mean, what Ashutosh has been thinking and what you've been thinking about money and your attitude towards money, I think is brilliant. So now I guess we can just get on with getting the nitty-gritties into place right away.
My only suggestion and request, Ashutosh, is to now start putting values to your goals and maybe take some help, and which is what we'll try and do, is to work backwards as to how will we achieve those values, because each goal has a value attached to it.
Correct.
Right? That's my only request.
Yeah. And what I like about him, like you said, his attitude towards money
Yeah.
is really very good. And the other thing is that unlike many people at 24, he's
Yes.
living well within his
his
means, and
yes.
he's actually managing to save much more than what a lot of people would save at a much older age. So kudos to you, Ashutosh, for that. Let's take a quick break on that note. We've sort of analyzed Ashutosh's current portfolio. What we'll do when we come back is we'll have a revamped portfolio for Ashutosh. And what's it going to look like? Well, you'll have to wait and find out soon enough. In the meantime, let's stay rich. Welcome back to Let's Stay Rich. Anshu Kapoor of Edelweiss and Harshvardhan Roongta of Roongta Securities have prepared a zingy new portfolio for Ashutosh. So let's hear it. What does it look like, Anshu?
Well, Ashutosh, thanks a lot for sharing all the data with us. From where you are today and where you need to be, we believe you need to make a lot of transition, and that can happen over a period of time. But largely today, you are in real estate and in some savings bank deposits, which are not going to grow perhaps as fast as you need to get to your goals. And your medium to term goals are very, very clearly defined. There's sister's wedding coming up, there's a house that you want to buy, and a long term, after 10 years, you want to take a big family tour.
Yes.
Right? So, considering all of that, it appears that the ideal allocation for you is to start allocating money into equities
Okay.
to begin with, and maybe shift the allocation over a period of time, overweight into equities.
Okay.
Maybe about 70% into equities, which will comprise of mutual funds, which will comprise of some direct equity exposure, as in when the family gets comfortable with that.
Okay.
The remaining part will go into fixed income, maybe tax free, maybe some fixed income mutual funds, and some contingency fund.
Okay.
So that's where we believe your ideal allocation should be for you to beat inflation and to reach the
My
goals that
goals.
you set out for.
Okay. He mentioned very often that they have never explored the idea of equity. In your experience, how easy or difficult is it for a family like Ashutosh's to actually make the transition from being ultra conservative in their risk-taking capacity to this overweight equity?
Well, one option that we had was to consider within some options within their comfort level. Now we did ponder over this. If we are going to suggest something which they're comfortable with currently, then meeting his goals is going to be difficult. In case you wish to meet your goals, you have to make that transition. There is some bit of information that you will have to gather. We will possibly need some kind of education on this particular asset class. You may not start immediately with the entire amount. You may explore and just test this with some bit of money that you invest today, and then get comfortable. Over a period of time you can scale up. But if you need to achieve your goals, you need to go in what is the right thing to do, whether you like it or you don't like it. So that is the intent with which we have designed this, and we have taken the liberty of exploring into areas which they're not comfortable to think about.
Is this the only solution?
More or less, yes. And we have also basically incorporated the rise in income that you will have. We are assuming, the underlying assumption is that you will continue to play football, and there will be a consistent growth in your contracts that you sign henceforth in the next couple of years.
Okay, so how much insurance do I take?
Ideally, in your circumstances, you would have to at least consider 10 times of what you earn today. So whatever your income is today, 10 times of that should be your life cover, the sum insured.
And if I were to add to that, Harsh, review this every 3 to 5 years, because your income and life stage would have changed. Also to add, you have to consider going for personal accident insurance or health cover, because we spoke about off the field protection, and that is very, very critical for you.
Okay, so that sounds good. Do you want to hand it over to Ashutosh now? Ashutosh, this is what we think your ideal portfolio should look like.
You so much.
Whenever you have time, you should go through it, review it, and perhaps if you need, also use a financial planner to help you and your mother plan your finances better. All the very best for the coming season, and thanks very much for being a part of our initiative.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And Anshu, Harshvardhan, thanks very much for coaching Ashutosh, and we really hope that you'll continue to indulge us as well.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, with that, it's a wrap on this episode, but here's what you can expect in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching.
Presented by Express Gold Loan from Muthoot FinCorp. जब जिंदगी बदलनी हो